Welcome to a magnificent journey into the past. This is medieval times!
One of the most important defense weapons of medieval times was the castle. To siege a castle, the machinery of the time played a major role on which side would win the battle. Attackers used battering rams in attempts to knock down the castle walls. They also used machines called trebuchets, which threw over large stones. The besiegers always tried to get to the other side, either by tunneling under the walls or even by going up the sewage holes. Scaling ladders and moving towers were popular methods to get over the walls. Catapults were also used, and anything was used to throw over the castle walls, including dead bodies. The attackers would also camp outside, preventing anyone from leaving the castle. This would lower the morale of the defenders. Since they wouldn't be able to get to food or supplies, they would starve and weaken. By the 15th century, large castles could be defended by as few as 60 men at arms and 100 archers. The choices in defense were varied. They could throw on their enemies either boiling water or boiling oil. They could also throw large rocks on them. Of course, these methods were used as archers shot upon the enemy. The sword was the most important knightly weapon, a symbol of knighthood itself and also a symbol of religious value. Swords began to change designs during the Crusades to look more like crosses. As the weapons evolved, so did the armor. And when the armor improved, weapons continued improving. The knights on horseback were considered the elite of every medieval army. People of the time were afraid of the knights on horseback because knights on horseback could ride by and kill a person with such speed and swiftness. Only bowmen could stop knights on horseback because bowmen would stop the knights' cavalry charges by slaughtering the knights' horses.
The bowmen were the poor knights of medieval times. They were in the lowest class of knights because the bow was the affordable weapon. It wasn't made out of any metal. These bowmen, however, were really the most skilled because they could kill someone from afar. As you can see, when the bowman pulled back an arrow, his hand holding the arrow back would make a V shape. Bowmen taunted knights by raising their two bow fingers in the V for victory sign. This was a taunting symbol to knights from the bowmen because bowmen were in the lower class than knights. It is believed the V for victory sign is the origin of the modern-day middle finger obscenity. There were many wars in medieval times, yet they all had one thing in common. They were based on greed. Some knights fought for wealth and glory, and every war attracted men to kill for money. Ideology, like today's wars when we fight for democracy or freedom, existed then too. Only in medieval times, armies fought for the Holy Land. Since 638 AD, Jerusalem had been controlled by local Muslim rulers, but by 1009, conflict rose between them and Christian pilgrims. Muslims destroyed the church where Christ's tomb was in Jerusalem and began a series of attacks on Christian pilgrims. After many attacks, Europeans wanted Jerusalem to be taken over by a Christian army. In Europe, knights were corrupt and sometimes even robbed the towns or castles they were sworn to protect. They were killing each other. The Roman Catholic Church thought a holy war would keep the violent knights occupied. Any time the Crusaders took over Jerusalem, it would be for a brief period. All the leaders of the Crusades knew it was a pointless war, and that the occupation of Jerusalem would never last, but they wanted a way to unite fellow Christians, no matter how lengthy or destructive the wars were.